Hey guys, I'm Nathan Masters with Brick System Brothers, and I wanted to give you a little preview and walk you through my latest MOC, my latest big MOC project, and that is this kind of mansion manor house. I call it Patriot Hill, and yeah, so let's kind of do a look at the big thing, and then I'm going to go into the details. But overall, this is definitely my biggest MOC that I've ever done. I'm not sure exactly how many pieces there are, but I'm guessing it's over 5 or 6 thousand. I worked on and off on this for about 4 months, and really I would just build it in a burst of a couple days, and then it would sit on the desk for a little while, and then I get back to it with some fresh ideas, and really, yeah, just kind of tackled it floor by floor, section by section. And one of the things I really like about this house is it is modular and does have a full interior. So definitely want to take a look at that in a minute. But a couple other things before that is this house does have occupants, and I designed a few of these figures based on the Johnny Thunder minifigure from the Adventurers series. In the actual sets with Johnny Thunder, he does have some traveling companions, but there's not a lot really said about his family or his background. So that was kind of the inspiration for who lives in the house, and I've done a figure for his dad, his brother, and his family, and a couple other figures as well. So there's a little bit of backstory that goes with it, but the house really is the main attraction. I put a lot of details and little interesting tidbits sprinkled around, and yeah, like I was saying, each room is detailed and has minifigure scale furniture and furnishings and all of that. So this is oh, I don't even know dimensions. I would say almost 2 feet long, the long way, 1 foot over here, and close to 2 feet high. It's a lot of pieces, guys. Okay, so first thing is I'll show you guys the back here. Let's see. So several gable ends. Most of the roof is just this 45-degree, which is what Lego has supplied for a lot of roof pieces and a lot of different things you can do with that, like tying in with hips and valleys. I did use some different slopes for the tower part up here, and I also varied it up for the wraparound porch using these lower, I think they're 33-degree slopes. And then that's about it. There is a custom roof part over here that I actually used plates for on the other tower. I call this the library tower because there's a library in there. And that's about it for the roof, except for these balconies, which I knew from the onset I really wanted to include some balconies in this kind of Victorian style, I believe is what it's called. And so these are actually fully accessible balconies. The upper one here is accessed by a small cubby that comes out from the tower, kind of hidden back in there, and those doors do indeed open. And then you can walk up on the very top. And then this second balcony is almost more of a walkway, and that is accessed from this upstairs room here. That has the main walkway across, and then two kind of overlooks, and it also has a ladder access to the top of the library tower. Directly beneath these two are some additional balconies, more enclosed really because they have this roof over them. But I did get to use these kind of bell tower pieces, which I had been saving up for a while. And other stuff on the exterior, color scheme is white and red. I knew I had a lot of these red bricks, and I thought that would turn out really well for a basement, so I did throw those in there. And then I used a little bit of black to separate between the layers there, where this is almost like a siding. And I also varied up the window types a lot, so each floor kind of is doing its own thing with windows and doors. Some lattice here, just normal frames, and then I went old style for the very top, and that kind of works its way around with those different windows as well. And, you know, throwing in little bump outs and that kind of thing to keep it varied. The other thing I will point out real quick before we start looking inside is two different types of fencing. Up for the balconies, I tried to use these bar fences, and those are actually built up by about a brick off of the roof layer. And that was really fun to build the inside of that with kind of these snot techniques on there. And then these lattice fences I used almost everywhere else. And these are almost like a false balcony, just kind of helping separate the different layers in the different floors of the house. So yeah, let's work our way down from the top. The first thing is the tower roof with the chimney built in. And these just pop right off as you would expect. There's a couple attachment points really just around the perimeter onto some of these studs. And the other thing is this chimney actually goes all the way through the house. And I did try to incorporate some fireplaces in on each level as well. So just that kind of detail and stuff. We have a really small room in the top of the tower. And really all this room is doing for you is providing some access up to the balcony. And after that, this main floor I would say is the trickiest to remove. Bear with me here. All right, got it. So we kind of start working our way down, just removing large chunks of the roof. And this was the last part of the house that I designed. And so at this point I was getting ready, trying to get it done, and did not put as much work into making the modules as easy to remove. So as we go down through the rest of the house, it just gets easier and easier to access everything, which is pretty nice. So again, we have this really big kind of gabled room up here. Not quite an attic, I would say more of a bedroom, master bedroom style. And then there's some access underneath with another fireplace to kind of move around there. And this ladder up from the top. I've tried to put in some furnishings, a picture here, and then down beneath that is like a wainscoting almost. So that was pretty fun to do those. All right, let's move right along. This section does have an attachment point to this roof over here, but that's just a couple of studs. So that comes off pretty easily. And really these floors are just 1 or 2 layers of plates with some reinforcement. And then those kind of sit on top of the next floor, which is mostly tiles, as you can see. So we have some more furnishings in here. This would be like a bedroom, and then that walks out to kind of a split level spot. And up here is almost like an office, and you can go around the corner, kind of a sitting room there. And then there is a way down to the lower floor, and over here is the way up to another attic room. Alright, so come over here to the library tower, and this is the top piece of that. Again, this is just plates, put on some angles. I use those hinge 1x2 with that hinge on there to make that angle work out. And then we're able to take off this section. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to pop this balcony off. We can actually... Whoops. There we go. So this whole section pops right out, and you can see into the attic there, some detail. Not a lot of furnishing in this room. I haven't really gone through and done all the details yet, but I got it to a point where I was pretty happy with it. And then this, oh yeah, I forgot. Okay, so this is the library. And I would say this is probably the highest concentration of pieces in the whole build. I really just packed up these shelves with a lot of fun little surprises and details and stuff. And then the way that this sits on here has one doorway access into the attic, but that can be closed off with a sliding bookcase. So that was a lot of fun to design and work into the build. But yeah, so then you get into this attic room, which is really, again, not a lot of detail. There is kind of a little round window on the gable end there I threw in. Okay, so now we have a pretty good view of a few of the main rooms of the structure. And getting into that sort of thing. A lot of the furnishings in here, and, you know, how minifigures would move through the house and around the hallways and navigate. So I'll kind of take you from the reading room, and you would come up these stairs here around this hallway. This leads out to a balcony. With those lattice railings on there again. Or you could keep going down the hallway this way. There's kind of a sitting area here. And then you can go down to the kitchen. From that floor, you can go up into this room, which we looked at a little earlier. So now I'll take this off. Yeah, so there's the kitchen and dining. And that has kind of a split level access right there. And this is also the entry room, because the front door is right around here. So you can see from the front porch. It's one of those older doors with kind of the 6 panels on there. And then if we bring the camera around this side real quick. So on the inside here, you can see these windows are different from all of the other windows in the house. These are actually lattice fences turned sideways using some snot techniques to do that. And it kind of matches this kind of lattice window, which is just an inset for a window frame. And these do have some black frames worked into that you could see from the front. So you come in that door, and then there's kind of the kitchen against that wall, the little dining area right there, and you could go down to the basement or up to the first floor bedroom and office and stuff. The fireplace in this room is a little bit more ornate and decorated, and again, the central chimney continues to go down. And then I've got a little night tucked into the corner back there. Okay. And then over on this side, there's just another bedroom hanging out. I did throw some curtains into this one. Had a little fun with that. Some furniture and stuff. All right, let's keep going. Next, I'm going to spin this, actually, and pop this one off. And now we start to see some of the base level furnishings and design. So to fully get an idea for this one, I'm going to go ahead and throw this porch off as well. And yeah, this is the garage, garage / basement. And these doors, big double doors in the front, open up. You can pull your vintage auto right out, drive it down the lane. And then I have this winch in here as well on this track. That moves back and forth. You could like unload a truck and move that around the room. There is a little kind of staging area over here. But then if you want to get a little more access to the basement, these pop off really nicely, really easily. And there's a little kind of quarters down here for someone who would be employed full-time as like a helping hand or someone like that who could actually just live here and have their own quarters set up like that. So then this is the garage portion of the basement, and the rest is more of a, your typical cellar would have kind of the main furnace right here and coal storage, kind of a wash bucket. From the first floor, this is your basement access, kind of walks down these spiral stairs, and then there's a little wine cellar around the corner here with some arches. And I think you guys probably already saw it because I left it open, but there is this really fun kind of concealed door on here, and that just that's right behind the wine cellar. There's a little handle that you can stick in and grab to operate that. So that's all built in as well. For the main floor, I just did kind of an alternating tan and light gray tile scheme. And you can really start to get an idea of how many pieces are in this, seeing it all spread out on the table. It was a big project. It was a lot of fun. I'd love to do a lot more. I think the success of this project I really owe to a lot of initial planning. I did draw this out, sketch it out, try to get some dimensions figured, and a lot of those original designs have survived. I also started with some main goals that I wanted to incorporate, such as having it modular and removable, the sections removable, having that split level design on there. For some reason, that's kind of a favorite aspect that I wanted to do. And then the fireplace worked into that, using up some of these elements that I had saved for that. So I'll throw this porch back on, and that'll kind of give you an idea of the floor plan. It's pretty rectangular with a couple of bumps here and there, but for the most part, pretty fun. As far as source material goes, really just kind of looking at some Victorian era pictures of houses. There isn't a single house that I've designed this off of. Rather, a lot of different elements from that era went into this. And I'm really happy with the result. So that's Patriot Hill. Hope you guys liked it. I really enjoyed building it, and someday I would like to have this at a convention or something. Probably not this year, but I do plan on keeping this together for a while, a couple years at least. A lot of techniques that I kind of, the funny thing about techniques is they get invented and then reinvented and rediscovered, and that's kind of how it happens. You're just building and you need something to work out a certain way, so you just figure it out, and later down the road you find out, oh yeah, someone else figured that out too. But it's a lot of fun to figure it out for yourself, and just figuring out half stud offsets or snot techniques, building things upside down. So yeah, there's a couple more features and stuff. I did have this fireplace hooked up to a battery box at some point, which it's not right now, and few more pieces I need to finish up, get some more blacks for that, to really make this 100% done. But I'm pretty happy with it how it is, and it's a really nice display piece, and it even makes good discussion to open it up and look at everything inside, and talk about the process, the details of the build. I think I need a little nicer car to go with the house, but this one works for now. Putting this garage in was a lot of fun with that, and that is where I started, this corner, and kind of built over and up. I'll throw in some of the pictures of the drawings I was using, some other pictures as well with some more of the details. So, there it is.